Hey guys, welcome to my December portion of the book vlog, the original series on this channel. So for the first book we're going to be talking about is The Woman in Me by Britney Spears, which is her memoir. Now, as you have noticed a few weeks ago, you guys got the Britney Spears music sheets. I actually started the music sheets while reading the book, but obviously I had to wait for the rest of December to film this, which is why the music sheets is already up and out. So we already know my thoughts on her music and all things like that, so we'll mainly be focusing on the actual memoir itself. So I started reading this November 28th to December 3rd. Now, it gets into a lot, and it's a quick read, but it's not something that is super happy, if that makes sense. You have a lot of her reasoning for loving music and the beauty of song. You get a lot of her family history and the birth of those dynamics that we all very much know now. You have her upbringing versus how her siblings were and how the shift kind of happened with her fame and popularity. You have Justin Timberlake appear quite a bit in this, and to be fair, I don't know that much about him. Not my type of music, but that was kind of interesting to get someone a little bit on blast too. You have how her children were taken away from her. You have game played legally by various people between her divorce, between her father. The legal system did not help her in any favor. Trying to uplift people as much as she's not being uplifted. You have her being body shamed for the majority of her career. And you have the different medicines that she was put on that really she shouldn't have been. So it's very interesting, it's very heavy, but it is definitely speaks to how the music industry works, speaks to how child stars work, and it's definitely something that I think a lot of people should know more about that a lot of us don't, It's not our world, and it's easy kind of to see it as not our world, but it's a shame. Very interesting. So, yeah, check out my music sheets, and so we'll keep going. So the next book I read is a reread. It's the League of Legends Z book by Shafer, Salazar, Ruggiero, and O'Halloran. I read this December 14th. So this book takes place in Ionia and features characters like Zed and Akali, which Akali is one of my favorites if you guys didn't know, especially with cosplay, but I can't speak too much on the comic or else it's just major spoilers, but the art's great and there's a lot of additional info in these physical copies as well, including how they started the world building, how they inked it. You get character designs, a lot of really interesting info that is really nice to have. That's about all I have to say on Zen. The next one I read was League of Legends Lex, which was also a reread by O'Brien, Tan, Haining, Cuzu, Tako, and Qianqian, Gadson. I butchered a lot of those, but you can look up and see all the names not butchered. I read this December 14th to December 21st, and this features Lex in a region that I cannot pronounce. But this is one that where magic's at the forefront, but not in a good way, where magic's pretty much banned, but their princess happens to have it. So that's about as much as I can say in terms of the plot. You have Alexa's will to be good. You have a lot of that incredible world building in this as well. all the behind the scenes. You also have an additional short story in this. But I don't know. She's a really interesting character. And definitely interesting to see how everything came to play within the story. So that was Lux. So the next one I read, wow, did you guess? Anyways, so this was a reread in League of Legends Ashe, War Mother by Shafer, Vakueva, Blythe, and Gross. Again, probably butchered. I apologize, I'm sorry. So I started this December 21st, and with this you have a lot of different like relationship dynamics that come into play and are really the heart of the story. You have kind of like Ashe coming into her own power too, which is pretty cool to see throughout it. And then you have a short story. You also have Britney's how the short story connects to Ashe's story. But again, I can't really speak too much on plot because it's a comic book by I don't know, Ashe is a really cool character. It's also a really cool region because this is I don't know if I can pronounce it either, but it's the Stone Ice region. And I don't know, it's cool. It's different. It's culturally different. The cool thing about League of Legends is each region is so incredibly different with different characters, and it's just really, it's fun. It's a fun world to be in. So that brings us to close on our League of Legends comic book binge. So the next one I read was Batman Mask of Phantasm by Kelly Puckett, Mike Parobeck, Rick Burchett, and Rick Taylor. Now this, I have watched the movie. I had not read the comic book even though I owned it. But I love the art style of Batman the Anime series, and they definitely brought that to life in comic book form. Really cool. I do enjoy the movie more than the comic book, so keep that in mind, but definitely check it out. And it does have a little bit of a sad ending, but it is iconic story, iconic movie that it's adapted off of, so Batman the Anime series will always be incredibly iconic. Okay. The next one I read was just, we have two random comic books. We have Suicide Squad Annual Number 1 by Ostrander, Nolan, and Dzon. I started this December 21st and finished it. So these comic books are old, and you can tell they're dated and definitely don't apply as much to this generation, hence why I don't have them. It's a very dramatic start, and there's just not a lot of focus on the characters as much as just spitballing information, which, especially with something like Suicide Squad, the heart of that is the characters. So I don't have much to say on it besides that. And the next one I read was another annual, and it's the Doom Patrol and Suicide Squad by Ostrander, Kupperberg, Larson, and Lewis. I read this December 21st. It's very similar to the other one, a lot of dialogue. You do have a little bit more focus on characters, but it's mainly the Doom Patrol. So you do see a decent amount of the Doom Patrol in it, which is cool, but still not giving what it needs to give. And then you have some more unnecessary sexualization because it's not modern, so take that for what you will. And then the last thing I read within December was the Time Person of the Year 2023, Taylor Swift issue. And I read this December 21st. Anyways, we'll get into Taylor. I'll eventually do a music sheets of her, but I'm waiting for Reputation and debut Taylor's versions, because if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, you know? But, if you don't follow me on any platform, I'm mildly obsessed with her, so, which you all know though. You have info on how they chose the person of the year, and also gave credentials as to why she was a good fit, despite what the internet might say against her. is warranted. You have a lot of random topics within it besides Taylor, which I don't read magazines, so I mainly just got it for her. But there's definitely other stuff in this magazine as well besides her. You have stuff like Athlete of the Year with Messi and CEO of the Year, which was the guy for ChatGPT, which AI, gross, ew, no. But otherwise, in terms of Taylor, which is what we're here for, all of her stuff was amazing as expected. You have stuff about her impact in terms of pop culture, but not just pop culture, in terms of the economy, in terms of revolutionizing the music industry and even the movie industry. You have her lyricism of how even her first single ever put out, Tim McGraw, how the first lyrics of that song are so incredibly poetic. You have the Eras tour and how that has generated so much revenue. You have info on stuff like Reputation, Taylor's version coming up. And you have stuff on just her personal life, to how she trained for tour, to everything in between. And it's really cool. I mean, it's definitely a good interview. Definitely should check it out. You can read it online or you can buy the magazines. But yeah, we love Taylor in this house. We stand. And that brings us to a close on our December reading log. As promised, I had more, just not a lot of content per se. But I hope you still enjoyed the reading logs for December 2023 and overall 2023 as a whole. We read 101 books. In total, the goal was 100. Now the magazine did not count. Goodreads does not have it yet, which was where I was doing the challenge for 100 books. And they do it for other people, so I presume eventually they'll put her on. But I was going to read that anyway, so but I have the 100 others. I'm definitely not going to do as much next year. I'm not going to force myself to. But yeah, so until January, see you guys.